Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Rise and Shine Assembly. What can we do today? It's May the 4th. Oh. Very good. May the 4th be with you. My music was supposed to kick in, but it's not for some reason. Never mind. There we go. Oh, very dramatic music. So, May the 4th today. May the 4th be with you, everybody. I'm going to play a little bit of Bop It here. Guess how many times I'm going to be able to do Bop It before I stop it. My record is 96. I scored 96. And trying to do Bop It whilst listening to Star Wars music is tricky. Oh. Star Wars music put me off it again. Actually, what did I say? 27, I think. I'm sure what I said. There we go. Right. We'll just switch that off for a while. Right. So, do you have a favourite Star Wars film? Yes, thank you. Just switch off for a while. Do you have a favourite Star Wars film? Now, a lot of people my age might say that the best Star Wars film is the first one, which is really the fourth one, which is called Star Wars: A New Hope. And that, I thought, oh, May the 4th be with you day, Star Wars Day. Let's do a little bit about hope today. Let me know what you think your favourite film is. There's so many of them now with the Star Wars, I've sort of lost track. But hope. Now, when you think of hope, what do you think about? Now, maybe you'll think, I hope I get a new bike for Christmas, or I hope it stops raining today, or I hope we get back to school soon. Are you hoping that? I don't know, maybe you are. And sometimes when we think about hope in this world, we think about hope as being a little bit wishy-washy, don't you? Here's my presents. I got my early Christmas presents. Can you guess what is in this Christmas present? Any ideas what this could be? Have a little think. Not sure? Okay, I'm going to open it up. See if you've guessed right. It was a box containing a Harry Potter wand. Did any of you get that? Okay, how about something else where maybe it might be a little more obvious? Anyone guess what this present is? Parents would like. Can you guess what it is? Oh, the house like Revenge of the Sith. Okay, interesting. So can we guess what this is? Well, I think a lot of you are going to get this one right. This one is, lovely bottle of wine. Yes, it is wine. Well, wine from Fortnum & Mason's, that one. Lovely. And what about this one? Can you guess what this present is? I'll check you through the wrap up. Any ideas what this one is? I'm sure you were able to guess, well, hopefully you were able to guess that this one was my teddy bear. But do you know what it looks like inside? No? Okay. There's my teddy bear, indeed. So this is a little bit like the hope that we talk about in the Bible. So when we had the box, this was maybe a little bit like the hope that we think about normally. Well, there's lots of ideas we might have hoped was in there, but we didn't really have a clear idea because we just couldn't really see the outline. But this is the sort of hope that we talk about in the Bible. Wine and teddies. It's where we see the outline, so we get an idea of what it is, but we don't necessarily know the detail. So you didn't know that this was going to be a brown teddy bear or a bottle of white wine, but you knew the outline of it. And that is like the hope that we have, that they talk about in the Bible a lot, where we may not know the detail, but we know the outline because we have promises that we can rest that hope on. Now, I can tell you a little bit about a chap in the Bible called Nehemiah. Now, he lived in Babylon, in the Persian Empire, at a time when the Babylonians had come in and destroyed Jerusalem. So Jerusalem had been the home for the Jews for a long time, and they built a city wall around it. But when the Babylonians came, a bit of a battle, and basically they left the walls of Jerusalem in ruins. Now, if you haven't got a city wall, it can be hard to defend yourself. And not only did they destroy the wall, they took away all their best people. They took away all the clever people, the strong people, and the people who were left behind in Jerusalem were left with very little hope. And they didn't have anyone to lead them or inspire them, and they'd sort of lost their way. But there was a man over who'd been born in Babylon, called Nehemiah, and he was a very firm follower of God's. And he was sad when he heard what was happening in Jerusalem, that the walls had remained unbuilt and everything was in despair. And he went and saw the king. And that was quite a brave thing to do, because you weren't supposed to be sad in front of the king. But Nehemiah went and was sad. And he said, I really want to go back and help my old people in Jerusalem to rebuild the walls. And actually, the king agreed to it. And not only that, he gave him some wood to do it as well. And so Nehemiah went back and he gave the people of Jerusalem hope. And they started to build the walls. But the people around them, who'd been used to just being able to run in and steal things from them because there was no wall, were a little bit cross about this. So they wanted to start to plan to attack them. So Nehemiah not only had to rebuild the walls, he had to organize the Jewish people to defend the city at the same time. And this isn't just a small little wall like you might have in your garden wall. This was a massive city wall. You can look it up actually on the internet, where the city walls of Jerusalem are, and you'll see just what a big task this was. But do you know what? They managed to do it in just 52 days. And they built up the walls of Jerusalem again. And the people just felt so much better. They were filled with hope again. And that is the sort of hope that, as I said, we can have in God. We have our promises that God has given to us in the Bible, and maybe still giving to us today. And we may not know all the details. We may not know what the future exactly looks like, but we can have our faith. And there is a lovely verse in Jeremiah. It's Jeremiah 29, verse 11. And God says to Jeremiah, for I know the plans I have for you. And he goes on to say, to give you a hope and a future. And that was God talking to Jeremiah thousands of years ago, but still just as relevant to us. He knows what happens in the future. And so we can have a hope and an assurance in that. So I've actually got a really nice little colouring sheet for anyone who loves to do a bit of colouring, and it's got a rainbow in it, and it's got that verse there from Jeremiah in it. So I'm going to post that into the comments section if you want to print it out today. But if not, I will see you tomorrow for another assembly. So stay safe, everybody, and may the 4th be with you.